In this case, the customer, Richard Wood, he contacted his bank. He went to his bank, but the FBI tells us that there are extra steps that we should all know about.
They were the ones who were supposed to be our protectors when it came to our account. And in my view of them right now is they're the villains.
It's safe to say Richard Woods felt let down by KeyBank. The small business owner says he became a customer in 2020 when his family bought these cottages in Long Beach, Washington. Fast forward to June 26th of this year. That's when the bank called to tell him about unusual activity. He called the main number to ensure it was the bank. It was, and they said they were handling it. The next day, the same call. That's when he went to a branch in person to report fraud. He felt confident until a text 2 days later.
My balance basically fell to, I believe, $38, somewhere in the $30 to $40 range. So then I immediately checked my banking account and noticed that $59,500 was being withdrawn.
Now, that amount being taken out was being taken out as an ACH debit, basically what you'd see for a payroll deduction. Woods did everything that you'd expect him to do. He called the bank, he went to the bank, and they were assuring him his money was safe. While they were investigating, that money wasn't going anywhere. In fact, he physically went to the bank to talk to his account manager on July 3rd. On the 5th, it was the branch manager. Then on the 6th, he was told the money would be back by the 18th. But after a few days turned to weeks, he was told on the 20th the money was already gone. In fact, it moved banks all the way back on the 5th.
The bank allowed somebody to go in behind closed doors and steal almost $60,000 after my account's been flagged. The bank allowed this to happen.
KeyBank responded with this letter saying, quote, because the transactions occurred as a result of a compromise of your online banking following the provision of personal information to a third party, we attempted to recoup the funds. It goes on to explain they followed their protocols.
It's tough because the scammers will come at you from all different angles.
Tammy Miser is an FBI supervisory agent in Seattle. Now, as she explains it, the best move Woods could have made is to file a report online here at ic3.gov.
Domestic wires, ACHs needs to be fast. So the moment you get that alert or from your bank that money's gone out or that you lock in and see that in your account, you need to report it to IC3. They have a good success rate as far as getting freezes on those accounts and people getting their money back.
For Woods, he could have been out of luck, but it turns out he wasn't giving up. While we were reporting on this story, he got his complaint on an executive's desk. And when they learned Fox 13 was looking into it, their reaction changed. The money is now back in his account.
Persistence really paid off here. Now, I should say KeyBank isn't even commenting whether Wood is a customer of theirs, but we've looked at his emails with KeyBank, and they indicate that this landed all the way up on the CEO's desk, and a manager is now telling Wood that they're going to be reviewing their practices and training methods for situations just like this one.
It all starts with what seems is a warning message.
Chase Bank, did you attempt a $2,500 pending Zealy? Reply yes or no.
David Burdick replied no and says within minutes he got a call from whom he thought was a Chase representative the morning of January 19th. He says he was asked to go on the mobile app and verify if any other charges appeared to be fraudulent.
He knew what stores I went to, how much I spent. And so that's what made me believe that it was actually a real person from Chase.
The 38-year-old says the alleged representative told him they'd have to transfer his savings into his checking account to prevent any more fraudulent activity. He transferred $4,355 with 12 cents with the promise of an email and a new account.
So I called Chase and asked him, like, hey, dude, where's my information? You know, where's all this details? And they just kind of laughed and they're like, dude, that's a scam. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they go, oh, yeah, this is a known problem.
He says his money was wired to an account in Florida. David called customer service and filed a complaint with the executive office.
I feel betrayed. I feel like, as we were taught growing up, you put your money in the bank. Your money is safe. Don't have to worry about it. It's insured. You know, no worries. That's not the case.
He's not alone. Nearly 2 months ago, on December 19th, Trevor Sneva received the same text message.
Did you just try to wire transfer $9,000, yes or no?
He too went through the motions. He answered the phone after responding no, hoping to keep his business account safe.
He asked for my password. I wouldn't give him that.
However, he says they made him sign a document to keep the money in his account. But after getting passed around to another representative who asked for security questions, he hung up and drove to his local branch in Spokane.
While I was sitting at the bank, like 2 more wires went out for $9,000 or $9,250.
Total of $20,000 taken from his account. Fox 13 reached out to Chase, who declined to an interview but sent us this statement saying in part, imposter scams are a societal problem. Scammers impersonate companies, banks, and even government agencies to try and trick customers out of their hard-earned money. We urge all customers to ignore phone or internet requests for money or access to their computer or bank accounts. They also sent us these tips, recommending you protect your personal account information, passwords, and one-time passcodes, saying if you want to be sure you're talking to a legitimate representative, call the number on the back of your card or visit a branch.
But when it's the same number, I don't know. I got a lot of blanket excuses of what I did wrong. I really don't know.
The FBI has no tolerance for elder fraud.
There's not a person in this building whose blood doesn't boil when they hear about a case like this.
A case where U.S. attorneys of the Western District of Washington proved Brian Davey was stealing from his own customers. Attorneys say over a 5-year period, Davey, a former Wells Fargo bank manager in Clark County, used unauthorized cash withdrawals, money transfers, and cashier's checks to pocket nearly $1.3 million from elderly customer accounts.
A particularly vulnerable portion of our population, and for someone to take advantage of that for their own financial gain is, quite frankly, despicable.
Attorneys say they partnered with the FBI, Wells Fargo, and 8 customers victimized by Davey. One woman drained $566,000 from her retirement accounts. It's a crime that Special Agent Ethan Vise says is underreported.
If we don't have a report about it, there's nothing we can do about it. So it is critical for people to come forward as quickly as possible as well, because time is of the essence in cases like this before somebody's entire life savings just walks out the door.
Specialists with AARP's Fraud Watch Network say there's a reason some victims keep quiet.
Don't be embarrassed. Don't be ashamed. Don't feel guilty. How could I fall for that? Talk to that friend, that trusted loved one, and share that with them. You have been victimized. It's not your fault.